Thank y'all so much for joining me on this video. I'm going to go through my latest creation. I think this is going to be my last Christmas junk journal this season, I think. I got a little stack over here though. Anyway, this is a 1957 edition A, first run, so it's the real deal. Now this one, if this artwork looks familiar, the cover was done. The illustration for the cover was done by Richard Scarry. You can probably kind of tell just by the little bunny. I mean, it's really, if you know, you know kind of thing. But Richard Scarry did the cover illustration. The illustrator for the book was a Sheila Beckett. Cute. I'm going to show it to you, but I'd not heard of her before. I want to go look her up. This is 4 signatures sewn in. The last 2 signatures are the book, and it is in order. Okay, we're going to go through it. There is a detachable charm. You'll see here. I did a video for this charm. I don't know if it's going to see the light of day. It's pretty choppy, discombobulated, but I'll see what I can do in the editing process. But just to show you, there are, of course, you hear the bells. Then there's the word Mary. There's a variety of buttons, beads, little mini ornaments. Let's see, mini ornaments there. Ornament, rick-rack. I mean, yarn. Lace, gingham. This charm, I put everything but the kitchen sink. Everything I could think of is on this charm. It is, this little clasp is very easy for my old hands anyway. Because some of them are kind of hard, but this one is pretty easy. It swivels 360 degrees, okay? But a lot of fibers and stuff. I'm going to take that off. And we're going to go through the book, okay? Book corners. I wanted the little small book corners on here. They're on all. The back is pretty beat up. I didn't do anything to it. Did not do anything to it. I wanted to leave that original, okay? But just to show you, it is scuffed up, the back is. Okay, here we go. Bam. Bam, like emerald. I'm teasing. I wanted to decorate this library pocket, okay? So, as you can see here, I've got just left you some writing room, though. Now, on this, I want to show you something. These library cards, I got them from Amazon. You will not find them in my affiliate links. I do not like them. They're very thin. I bolstered this. These are actually 2 library cards put together, but it's in the middle, there's a piece of cardstock, so I made it a little sturdier. This is a vintage milk pog. So, there's that. Then, I left the back of the pocket so you could slide a little tag or, a little whatever you want to put in there, but this does fit in there, okay? The paper line that I used is Echo Park Happy Holidays. You'll see quite a few pieces in here. Journaling card, sewn. Pieces of another Christmas book. Christmas card. A little Frosty cutout moment, but it left it so you could slip a tag in there. This is from a vintage, this is a lead page from another vintage, I think it's from a Telltale. I just don't know which one because it was by itself in my stash of stuff. Ledger paper, vintage ledger paper. Christmas music paper, sewn. From a Hobby Lobby pack of Christmas paper that I'd picked up. This is from the Echo Park stickers from the Echo Park paper line, Happy Holidays. This is a Vintage Ideals magazine. Another, not ledger paper, but a legal pad of paper. This is from a little Christmas book, The Story of the Goblins Who Stole a Sexton. I tried to incorporate as much writing space as I could, and there are a lot more, believe it or not, decorating opportunities even in this book. Ledger paper is from this is not from the Happy Holidays line. I don't remember which line it's from, but it is an ephemera pack. It's Echo Park, but it's an ephemera pack that I had. Okay, interesting here, just want to show you, I left the bag open at the top. We did this on a live together, so there's a little pull tab on that. Okay, and stick that back in there. Now, I want to show you something. For all of you who are Dollar Tree shoppers or you watch the Dollar Tree hauls, you're going to get 7 playing cards that came in the Christmas line this year. A Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation, Frosty, Elf, Rudolph, Grinch, and Charlie Brown. This is from the Echo Park. These are the cut-aparts from the Echo Park Happy Holidays line. Okay. But just know you're going to get all of those cards. Okay. Ledger paper. Another writing space opportunity. And here's your signature. We, first let me show you, I'll bring this up so you can see the charms that I selected. Little silver charms to dangle. I did not leave them dangling out of the bottom because there's so much going on around the book. I just thought, no, let me just cut them short enough so they're inside the book. Okay. We did this on a live the other day, and Susie, my friend Susie, my bestie Susie, and my sister Teresa suggested Susie actually suggested it. Everybody was all for it. And these envelopes on the front as a focal point with some stamps. So you have that here. Okay, those are little Canadian 5-cent stamps. I don't know, looks like that's a date of 1992, so vintage, I guess. I gave you a napkin here. Now this has 6 images, so you can decorate with this napkin. This is a journaling card I cut out of a book and backed onto manila paper or manila file folder. Okay, so you have that. I may put that back together later. I've got you a couple of little tuck spots behind the envelope with just some little craft paper tags. Same on this side, just different stickers. Nothing on the back. Those stickers are the Happy Holidays Echo Park line. Here's another little backed onto. This was bigger. That's why you see this here. It was actually a square card, and I cut it down to be able to fit into this pocket. So if that bugs you, just let me know. I didn't want to cut off his feet or anything. So that's why I kind of left it like that. Then we made this with pattern paper, but it's red and green, and then we put this is a little felt bow. Yeah. So edged that little notebook paper with a little toy soldier, ledger paper, little Santa. He is backed on cardstock, so he's very sturdy. And I left the bag open on the top and the side, and I gave you a couple of little, I did not sew around this journaling card just because of the pages. I cut around this page and I wanted to leave it like that. That's from the Echo Park Happy Holidays sticker element sheet. This is again from another book. I did not sew around that one because I made a little belly band here, and this is from Happy Holidays paper pack. Okay, so you have that. I may also, I'm going to add, now you're going to have an extra packet of stuff, but I thought I had, yes, look, I have this also that I'm going to send with that. So, plenty of room to stuff things in that. This is going to be this is an altered paper clip. Another altered paper clip, you'll see, with a little red sold tag here. This is not the Happy Holidays line, but it is an Echo Park paper, an Elements ephemera pack. This is from just a little paper clip, but this is from another different storybook, but Santa going down the chimney. And then there's that vintage music sheet, Santa Claus, Indiana, USA, the ledger paper. This is just a little tab where you can flip that over and out. And then over and out. Anyway, here's a little, another little Santa face, meant to be a to and from tag, but I just loved it. Wanted to stick that right in there. And then we have another journaling card on black paper. So I thought you could take your white writing pen if you have one of those. I didn't cover any of this up. This is, the back of that card. I didn't cover it up. Again, some opportunity for you to decorate. And then I have this little sticker. These are puffy stickers. They came from Hobby Lobby. I had some little holly on that. And then that's Franken paper. And there's that other sheet. Here's your second signature. Each signature has 16 pages. Okay. So here's your second signature, start of your signature. And I always like to have some type of visual that starts the signature, right? So this is your visual for that. It is an altered paper clip. This paint chip is lined with, so you can write on it, but that is glued down. These little pattern girls are backed on cardstock, so even though they're glued down, they are very sturdy. Here's your pocket here. This is from the Echo Park paper line. Here is a Christmas card for you. And I have another, I'm going to give you this because this is done in green, little journaling card. I'll put this back here. This is a vintage 1983, maybe? Yeah, 1983 little cookbook. It's like one of those little church cookbooks or something like that. So that just lent itself to this whole vintage journal. I loved it. This, okay, of course, this is not a vintage coin wrapper, but it is on both sides, and I made it so you could tuck some little goodies, and I did that. Some little ephemera pieces on both sides. That's your little pieces, but that's for you to have fun and decorate with, right? So just know that you can tuck those little things back in there. And then I also gave you the rest of the little ephemera, or not the rest, but, well, I am going to wind up giving you the rest, but not in this application. But here you have it here, and then you also have it here. Shouldn't be stuck. There you go. That one says Merry Christmas also, a little Merry Christmas banner. Another vintage milk pog, just glued to the top. I've had these little paper clips in my personal stash well before I started junk journaling. But I like the yellow because of the yellow star, and then the green and the red on that. So you can just pull that off, and there's Santa. Okay? But I liked this one because of the way you could clip it in and you could see it from the side. That's just some stationery with Santa's face. This is, I believe this to be vintage tissue paper. I can't swear to it though, but I do believe it is. Little writing space. Here's another little altered paper clip. Oh, let me see. You can pull it off. Okay. It's a little Christmas recipe card. This is practice cursive handwriting paper in French. Okay. And then you can see here that is actual Scrabble tiles, but I did back the paint chip so that you could write on that. Okay. This is a vintage napkin, and it is open at the bottom. But you could also, if you wanted to, you could glue it down here and use it as a little tuck. I left that up to you. It is sewn here also. It's sewn into the signature, but I just added a little decorative stitch there. This is vintage stationery. Love it. I just think it's so pretty. Feels really good too. Hobby Lobby paper. That's Hobby Lobby paper. Oh, look, I needed to cover that, and I will. I'll cover that with something. I'm not quite sure yet what, but some type of sticker or something. I'll make sure that's covered. Or unless you want to do it, maybe you want a pocket or something. We'll see. I'll leave it open for now, and whoever buys the book, we can talk about it. This is a vintage Ideals magazine. I'm sorry. It's the end of the day, and I've been kind of rushing around. Ledger paper. I left this blank, but red envelope, and then on the here, there's one of those little sight music flashcards, and then that's part of the cut aparts from the Happy Holidays line. And little Santas. This is vintage wrapping paper, Christmas wrapping paper. This is a vintage Christmas card. And it is one of those that, Now, this came out of the scrapbook, so that was like that. I'll have to fix this. But then this is not a vintage card. It's the Martha Stewart card. And added that. This little thing is just made to be a little tuck. Isn't he sweet? So you can just tuck him in here like that. Little writing room. Look at him, how cute he is. Little Ideals, little boy, tousle-headed little boy. And then on this signature, you have the Christmas trees. They're both Christmas trees because of that tree in the background. So his little train in his little feety pajamas. I think he's so cute. The card, and then on the back side of the card, I gave you a little belly band moment here. Let me show you what I tucked into here. This is from the night before Christmas. So wanted to give you that. That is backed on cardstock. This is a vintage Christmas stationery. And this is a vintage check register. Isn't that fun? I think this is so fun. I found a box of them actually several months ago, and I have hoarded them. But I'm gonna start putting them in my journals. Little altered paper clip, and then you see here that's the other side of the envelope, and I just glued it here in the middle. I did not glue the sides here. You can just slip things in and out of here. These are vintage game pieces. These are not, but you get a couple of Coca-Cola playing cards, just red and green, all red and greens. Here's your ledger paper, your Ideals magazine. Here's some more ledger. And then the other side of that Hobby Lobby paper pack. Left it blank. And then the other side of the napkin, the cursive handwriting practice sheet. Here's that tissue paper. This I did a little short for. These are vintage. Each one is individual, but I glued them to a heavy piece of cardstock to make this belly band, and they are vintage Christmas tags. Then inside that is vintage Christmas paper and just a little red doily moment. So you have a little altered paper clip, the little star here. Then the other side of that book. Here's that ledger paper, the other side of that cookbook. And then you've got a little Frosty notepad. This, I think these are vintage. I'm almost, yeah, they've got to be. Impressions, look at that logo. These are vintage. Found those in a thrift store, but then little game scoring sheet. This pocket is plenty big enough for a bunch of stuff, though. Okay. And then here starts the third and the fourth signature that are the book. Remember, 1957 books. So the pages are not crumbly, but they're from 1957. So what I decided to do to help bolster the pages is on the outside of each signature starts with an envelope. This is pretty substantial. So the outside is bolstered, and then the inside middle signature, I put this image, this little note. I'm sorry, I knocked y'all. I put a book page that is pretty substantial, just to make sure. I wanted to make sure it was as bolstered as it could be, right? So the book is in order. The first signature is in order, and then it goes right into the second signature in order. So the little snowflake charms, but I'll show you the images in this book. I rounded the corners on this, okay? Again, you've got to, it's 1957, right? If there were places, and I'll show you in the second signature especially, there were a couple of places that I was concerned with. They had not cracked, but it looked like it might. So I'll show you what I did to help prevent any further cracking. This is a little, you can see it, a little Rolodex December, and then just some red and green flashcards. And then that ends your signature, okay? Now, this is the start of your second signature, or your fourth signature, second part of the book, but in order, okay? So you can see, same concept. Here's a little, this is actually vintage. I backed it with a piece of gold paper that is glued in between, and then I just did this little, because I couldn't help myself. I had to do it. Little retail tag moment there. Alter paper clip, and then we'll look at this section of the book. Isn't that pretty? Oh, look, like right here, you see? I'll show you, and I'll fix this off camera, but you see how that's cracked and that's cracked? I'm going to show you, ooh, and this too. I'll show you how I fixed it, because there were some other pages, and I'll do that. Like I said, as soon as this video is over, I'm going to work on that. Here is your Frosties, your Frosty silver charms on that one. Okay. And then that's the rest of your book. This is how I fixed it. I have some pattern paper, but it's red and green. So I bolstered this crack. Well, I say it's just it was a crease that looked like it could possibly. So on both sides, I went ahead and put that down over it. So you can still see through it, but it is, does help to bolster that. And I'll do that same thing on the other one. Now on this, I want to show you what I did. This is your envelope here, of course, and the end of the book. Didn't change anything on the back, but I did glue this slide, this that says believe, down here, because if you choose to put Santa back where I had him, he goes hand in hand with Santa and believe. That's why I did that. Okay, so on this, I had a vintage diary that was not written in. It was all blank. And I took December 1st through December 30th, because I don't know where December 31st went. I have no idea. I'm so sorry. But every page is blank, and I put it in this last one if you wanted to do a daily entry. Now, you're also going to get these numbers. I will cut them apart for you, and they will be included in the extra goodies. But that way, if you wanted to use this as a December daily, you certainly could. I'll bring them up a little so you can see how cute this line is. The back is just a stripe, but just absolutely cute. 1 through 31 on this. And that's it. That is my Christmas book from 1957. And I had so much fun with this, y'all. I'm really very thrilled with how this one, really, how it turned out. I just love the way it explodes with just happiness, just merriment. You know, that's what it reminds me of. So anyway, thank you all so very much for joining me on this video. I'll have all the information in the description. If you're interested in purchasing, you'll see a clickable link that will take you to a page with pricing information. Thanks again, guys. And remember what I always say, I do hope that whatever it is you get to do today or in the next few days, it is at least as much fun as I had creating this Christmas junk journal. Thanks, guys. We'll chat soon. Bye.